Tyson Fury versus Tom Schwartz flopped in Vegas, at least at the box office, despite all the hype. And we're going to talk about that in detail in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell icon so you can be notified when we release more videos. Share the videos, check me out on Twitter. Definitely check out the Patreon that we have going on and the live streams that we do Monday through Friday. OG Boxing Talk on Sunday. Let's get into it. Tyson Fury was supposed to have taken over Vegas. It was, the biggest fight in the heavyweight. Well, nobody's saying it was the biggest fight in the heavyweight division, but it was just a lot of hoopla around Tyson Fury in this fight against Tom Schwartz in Vegas. Now, according to Boxing Scene, Tyson Fury's debut generated $882,000 in the box office, and they sold 5,489 tickets. Now, mind you, that the capacity for the MGM Grand in Las Vegas is about 18,000. So, of the 18,000 seats that they could have sold tickets for, they managed to sell 5,489. That is about a third full. Add that to the fact that if you look at what the viewership was on the preliminaries, and that was on ESPN. The fight was actually on ESPN Plus. The Tyson Fury fight was on ESPN Plus. The regular fight, the undercard, was on regular ESPN, and they averaged 493,000 viewers for that show. There was a peak at 800,000 for Myers, the female fighter, for her fight on the undercard. And then it jumped off of the main ESPN into ESPN Plus, which would tell you that significantly less than 400,000 people are going to watch that because there's only 2 million subscribers on ESPN Plus. So despite all the Bob Arum talk about how, huge a fight this was in Vegas and how excited people were for this fight in Vegas, that did not show in the ticket sales, and it didn't show in the actual viewership of the fight on ESPN or ESPN Plus that we know of. So, as usual, the hype train hits again. Now, I find that real funny because Tim Bradley, if you recall, in the middle of the broadcast, said that Tyson Fury is the heavyweight Terrence Crawford. Now, that's ironic because that's the same problem that Terrence Crawford has. He's a good fighter that Bob Arum can't find a way to get a lot of people interested in. And as a result, the pay-per-view fight with Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan did somewhere between 100 and 180,000 pay-per-views. And now Bob Arum is saying that he's not going to put Terrence Crawford back on pay-per-view until there's the Errol Spence Jr. fight. And somehow that situation dictates him getting a 50-50 split with Errol Spence Jr. in that fight, the Terrence Crawford-Errol Spence Jr. fight. We find ourselves in that same situation with Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. These type of numbers do not back up all the trash talk that people were making about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's last fight, which sold somewhere around 13,000 tickets. 13,000 tickets, but people would say those were all Tyson Fury fans. It did 325,000 pay-per-view buys, but those were all Tyson Fury fans. If they were all Tyson Fury fans and Tyson Fury fights in Las Vegas and sells 5,000 tickets, but Deontay Wilder's next fight is against Dominic Breazeale in New York and they sell over 13,000 tickets, How is it that you give all the credit to Tyson Fury for when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought? Doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense when people started saying it. It doesn't make sense now. I will say, though, that this article was very, very interesting, and I suggest that you guys read it because you will see the games that people play with these numbers. Numbers only seem to matter when they benefit the person or the entity that is responsible for backing it. This argument that this guy makes in this video about Tyson Fury and his numbers not doing very well in Las Vegas, because one thing that they mention in here is that the announced crowd at the fight in Vegas, at the MGM Grand, was roughly 9,000 people they say were in attendance. But they wound up having to give away 1,500 tickets. Now, last time I checked, 5,400 and 15,000 and plus the 1,187 complimentary tickets, that combines to 6,676, which is still roughly 2,500 short of what they said the attendance was. So pretty much what this article saying is they just exaggerated the numbers. They just exaggerated how many people were there. That's the same thing that Bob Arum has been doing. It's the same thing that Eddie Hearn does. It's the same thing that they do about how much money is being made by Tyson Fury. In this fight right here, in this article, they start off by, although they point out one exaggeration that's made about Tyson Fury in the attendance for the event, they also spread some more misconceptions, which, for example, they say the final numbers for the ESPN Plus event, Tyson Fury's first first of $100 million deal have not yet been released. Bob Arum himself said that $100 million deal was BS, that it had a potential, if everything went right, to become a $100 million deal. So although this article points out the fact that they weren't telling the truth about the number of people that were in attendance, right? And the people that bought the tickets, they somehow are going to feed you this equally big story that Tyson Fury got $12 million for that fight. If you know Bob Arum and the way Bob Arum's stance on spending money, he sued Al Heyman and the PBC for violations of the Sherman Act, violations of using sham promoters, that whole lawsuit. But in the midst of talking about that, in the midst of doing that, he was talking about how crazy Al Heyman was for overpaying fighters. But you think that although he's paying Vasyl Lomachenko $2 million a fight, he's paying Terrence Crawford $3 million a fight, that he's paying Tyson Fury $12 million for a fight against Tom Schwartz? Does that sound reasonable for Bob Arum? If you add that to the fact that Bob Arum said that rumor that it was a $100 million deal was BS, you should realize that they're not telling the truth about most all of that stuff. It's called promotion. It's called sales. It's a used car salesman tactic. They're trying to raise the value by exaggerating a whole lot of the details about the product. So many people love it. Everybody loved him in Las Vegas. He was so exciting in Las Vegas. The place was packed. We sold out the same arena that Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao sold out. You know, blah, 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 blah. All that extra over-the-top promotional stuff. That's what you're getting from Top Rank. That's what you get from Matchroom Boxing, because that's what you get from promoters. Promoters are going to feed you a line because they want you to buy their show. The whole purpose of the article at the end was to draw this picture that there's parity in the heavyweight division, and that every one of the big 4 fighters need each other. In the United States, there's not big 4. There's a big 1. Deontay Wilder is the longest reigning heavyweight champion. He is the guy that is selling the most tickets in the United States. He's the guy that's doing the most viewership in the United States. And if all these guys are fighting in the United States and these fights are not taking place in the UK, and you look at the numbers that are published for these guys in the United States, there's only one big heavyweight fighter in the United States, and it's the guy who ESPN said was the most famous active boxer on the planet. That would be Deontay Wilder. He's the guy in the last 2 fights that got himself by fights that were fought in the United States to the number 56 position in the highest paid athletes in the world. He's the guy that has 9 title defenses, equaling great heavyweight champions like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and the likes. But for some reason, the promoters who don't promote him, but promote the other guys, always find some way to try to drag his stock down, artificially drag his down, and artificially inflate the others. If Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder were fighting in the UK and Andy Ruiz were fighting in the UK, then yes, there could be the big 2, which would be Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the United States. And Anthony Joshua proved it in his last fight. Tyson Fury just proved it in his last fight. Especially when you compare Tyson Fury's fight with Deontay Wilder and how well that did. And then you look at what happened when Deontay Wilder fought Dominic Breazeale and what happened when Tyson Fury fought Schwartz. The reason that the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight did well in the first place was because of Deontay Wilder, not Tyson Fury. But anyway, it is what it is. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.